You think I don't know what you are? Marcus Wellington's voice cut through the freezing December air like a blade. His $8,000 coat hung open, his hands trembling, not from cold, but from rage he'd buried for 20 years. You think I can't see through this performance? Maya Chen looked up from the concrete floor of Union Station. Her 5-year-old daughter Lily pressed against her chest and said nothing. She'd learned silence was safer than truth. Marcus pulled out his black Centurion card. No limit, no restrictions. Unlimited access to $14.7 billion, and threw it at her feet. 24 hours. Spend whatever you want. Prove my father right. Prove that people like you are exactly what he said you were. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and watch until the very end. Comment below with your city so I can see how far the story travels. Now, let me tell you what happened next. Marcus Wellington hadn't cried since his mother's funeral 17 years ago. He'd learned early that tears were currency wasted on a world that valued cruelty over compassion. His father, Richard Wellington, had made certain of that lesson. Emotions are for the weak, Richard would say, usually while signing documents that put another 1,000 people out of work. Sentiment is how poor people stay poor. Standing in Union Station that Tuesday morning, December 17th, watching commuters flow around the homeless woman and child like water around stones, Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. Not sympathy. He'd killed that years ago. No, this was something darker. This was the desire to prove, once and for all, that his father had been right about everything. That human goodness was a myth. That the desperate were just thieves waiting for opportunity. That trust was a luxury only fools could afford. Sir? His assistant Jennifer touched his elbow. The board meeting starts in 9 minutes. The shareholders are already seated. Marcus didn't move. He couldn't stop staring at Maya Chen's hands. They were wrapped around her daughter so tightly, her knuckles had gone white. Protective. Desperate. Exactly like his mother's hands had been the night his father threatened to send him to military school for crying over a dead dog. Cancel it, Marcus said. Excuse me? Cancel the meeting. Cancel everything. Today. Jennifer's voice pitched higher. Mr. Wellington, this is an $80 million deal. If we don't... I said cancel it. He turned to face her, and whatever she saw in his expression made her step back. Tell them I'm conducting a personal experiment. Tell them anything. I don't care. He walked toward Maya before Jennifer could respond. His Italian leather shoes clicked against dirty tile. He'd paid $3,200 for those shoes. He couldn't remember why. Maya saw him coming and immediately started gathering the few belongings scattered around her. A backpack with a broken zipper, a grocery bag stuffed with clothes, a pink blanket so thin Marcus could see through it. Her daughter Lily watched him with huge brown eyes that held no trust whatsoever. Smart kid. I'm sorry, Maya said immediately, her voice rough from cold and disuse. We're not bothering anyone. We can move to a different spot if this is your area. I didn't know this section belonged to someone. Marcus stopped 3 feet away. Up close, he could see details that gutted him despite his best efforts. Maya's coat was held together with safety pins. Lily's shoes were 2 sizes too small, her toes pressed against the canvas. There was a fresh bruise on Maya's cheek, partially hidden by her hair. How long have you been out here? He asked. Maya's eyes darted to the exit, calculating escape routes. We're leaving, I promise. Just give us 2 minutes to pack up. That's not what I asked. She swallowed hard. 5 months. 5 months, Marcus repeated. The words tasted like ash. And before that? Before that doesn't matter. Maya's chin lifted slightly. Pride, even in the gutter. Marcus recognized it because he'd seen it in his own mirror every morning. We're fine. We don't need anything. You're sleeping on subway floors with a child. We're managing. Are you? Marcus pulled out his wallet. Maya's eyes widened slightly, probably expecting a 20 if she was lucky. Instead, Marcus pulled out his Centurion card. The black card with platinum edges that had no spending limit, no restrictions, no oversight except his own. He held it up between them. Maya's expression shifted from wariness to confusion. I don't understand what you're... Take it, Marcus interrupted. Sir, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm not trying to scam you, I know exactly what you are, Marcus said, and his voice carried all the venom his father had taught him. You're desperate. You're one bad day away from complete collapse. You're exactly the kind of person my father warned me about my entire life. Maya pulled Lily closer. We should go. 24 hours, Marcus continued, ignoring her. Take this card. Spend whatever you want. There's no limit, no pin, no questions. Just sign your name. Why would you do that? Because I want to prove something. Marcus pressed the card into her hand. Her fingers were ice cold and trembling. My father told me that people like you, desperate people, poor people, people with nothing to lose, are dangerous. That given opportunity, you'll take everything and demand more. That compassion is just another word for weakness. Maya tried to give the card back. I don't want to be your experiment. Too late. Marcus closed her fingers around the card. 24 hours. Prove him right or prove him wrong. Either way, I'll finally know the truth. And what happens after 24 hours? I'll find you here tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. We'll see what choices you made. Marcus pulled out his phone, opened his banking app, showed her the screen. Every transaction shows up here in real time. I'll see everything you buy, everywhere you go. You won't be able to hide anything. This is insane, Maya whispered. Probably. Marcus stood up, his knees aching from kneeling on frozen tile. But I'm doing it anyway. 24 hours, Ms. Chen. Show me what kind of person you really are. He turned and walked away before she could argue further. Behind him, he heard Lily's small voice. Mama, what just happened? Maya's response was too quiet to hear. Marcus made it halfway across the station before his phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. Board is furious. Chairman demanding explanation. What should I tell them? He typed back. Tell them I'm testing a hypothesis about human nature. They'll understand that. They wouldn't. But Marcus didn't care. For the first time in 17 years, he'd done something that wasn't calculated for profit or image or strategic advantage. He'd done something completely irrational. And it felt like drowning and breathing at the same time. Marcus didn't go to his office. He went home to his penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, poured himself 3 fingers of scotch he didn't drink, and sat in the dark watching his phone like it was a bomb timer counting down. 6 a.m. Nothing. 7 a.m. Nothing. 8 a.m. Nothing. Why wasn't she spending? Was she afraid? Did she think the card was fake? Or was she planning something bigger, waiting for stores to open, mapping out maximum damage? At 8:47 a.m., his phone finally buzzed. Transaction, $42.15. Location, Walgreens, 1372 South State Street. Marcus's pulse spiked. He clicked for details, but the app only showed the total, not itemized purchases, just a number. He stared at it for 5 full minutes. $42. She'd had unlimited access to his wealth for nearly 3 hours, and she'd spent $42. His father's voice echoed in his skull. She's testing the waters, seeing if it works. The real damage comes next. Marcus poured the scotch down the sink and made coffee instead. He needed to be sharp for this. At 9:23 a.m., another notification. Transaction, $68.23. Location, Target, 1154 South Clark Street. Marcus pulled up a map. Both locations were within 6 blocks of Union Station. She wasn't running. Wasn't fleeing to some distant city with his card. She was staying close. Why? At 10:05 a.m., $15.67, McDonald's. At 10:41 a.m., $33.50, CVS Pharmacy. At 11:18 a.m., $89.33, Payless Shoes. Every transaction modest. Careful, nothing extravagant. Nothing even approaching the kind of spending Marcus had expected. His phone rang. Jennifer. "Mr. Wellington, I have the chairman on hold. He's threatening to call an emergency board meeting to discuss your fitness for—" "Tell him he can call whatever meeting he wants," Marcus interrupted. "I'll be there when I'm there." "Sir, with all due respect, this is extremely unusual behavior. The board members are concerned about your judgment." Marcus laughed. Actually laughed. "My judgment has made them billions. They'll survive one day of concern." He hung up before Jennifer could respond. By noon, Maya had made 8 transactions, totaling $387.91. Marcus couldn't stand it anymore. He grabbed his coat and headed for Union Station. He needed to see what she'd done with the money. Needed to see if his father's warnings were manifesting in ways the transaction amounts couldn't reveal. He found her exactly where he'd left her, but everything had changed. Lily was wearing a purple winter coat that actually fit her. New boots. New pink hat with a pom-pom on top. She was playing with a stuffed giraffe, making it walk across the cardboard sign while she hummed. Maya saw Marcus approaching and immediately stood up, the Centurion card already in her trembling hand. "I can explain everything," she said quickly. "I kept all the receipts, every single one. I can show you exactly what I bought and why. I didn't waste anything, I swear." Marcus held up one hand. "Keep the card. You still have 12 hours. "I don't need 12 more hours." "That wasn't the deal." Maya's jaw tightened. "What is this really about? Why are you doing this?" "I told you, I'm testing something." "By humiliating me?" The word hit Marcus harder than expected. "That's not—" "Isn't it?" Maya's voice rose slightly. Lily stopped playing and looked up, worried. Maya immediately softened her tone, but the anger remained. "You're watching every move I make, tracking every dollar, treating me like a criminal on probation. What else would you call it?" "I call it research." "I call it cruel." They stared at each other. Around them, commuters flowed past, oblivious to the confrontation. A man in a business suit dropped $1 in their donation cup without breaking stride. Maya didn't even glance at it. "Show me what you bought," Marcus said finally. "Why?" "Because I need to see." And he did, desperately. His entire worldview was balanced on those receipts. Maya pulled out a plastic Walgreens bag and handed it to him. Inside, children's winter coat, clearance tag still attached. Children's boots, also clearance. Thick socks, Band-Aids, Neosporin, children's Tylenol. "She was freezing," Maya said simply. "The coat she had was donated back in August. It doesn't fit anymore. She's been getting sick every other week from the cold." Marcus looked at Lily, now warm for the first time in months, playing happily with her new giraffe. "What else?" His voice came out rougher than intended. Maya handed him a second receipt, this one from Target. Stuffed giraffe, coloring books, crayons, granola bars, apples, crackers, juice boxes. And then, at the bottom, a line that made Marcus's breath stop. Chicago Homeless Coalition. Donation. $100. He read it 3 times to make sure he wasn't hallucinating. "You donated money," he said slowly. "You're homeless, and you donated money to help homeless people?" Maya's cheeks flushed. "The Pacific Garden Mission has been good to us when they have space. They're always running low on supplies. I thought, if I have extra money, even just for one day, maybe I could help them help someone else." "Someone else," Marcus repeated. His father's voice had gone completely silent. "There's a woman there with 3 babies under 3 years old," Maya continued. "There's a teenager who aged out of foster care with nowhere to go. There's a veteran with PTSD who can't hold down a job. They have it worse than us." "You have nothing," Marcus said. "You're sleeping on floors. Your daughter is 6 years old and homeless. You have it as bad as it gets." Maya shook her head. "We have each other. That's more than some people have." Marcus sat down on the cold floor next to her. He didn't care about his expensive pants, or his image, or what passing commuters might think. He just needed to sit, because his legs wouldn't hold him anymore. "My father was wrong," he whispered. "About what?" "Everything." Marcus looked at Lily, contentedly coloring a picture of a flower. "He told me desperate people are dangerous, that poverty makes people selfish, that if you give someone with nothing an inch, they'll take everything and still demand more. Your father sounds like he forgot what it's like to be human. He never knew in the first place." Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Maya the transaction history. "I expected you to drain this account. Expected luxury hotels and designer clothes and jewelry. Expected you to disappear into the night with everything you could carry. I'm sorry to disappoint you. You didn't disappoint me. You destroyed me." He gestured at the receipts. "You had unlimited access to wealth most people can't even imagine, and you bought a winter coat for your daughter and donated to people worse off than you. Do you understand how rare that is?" Maya was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was barely audible. "I know what it's like to have nothing. I know what it's like to be invisible, to have people step over you like you're garbage. If I can make even one person feel seen, feel human, feel like they matter, then maybe this nightmare has some kind of purpose." Marcus looked at her, really looked at her, past the worn clothes and the exhaustion and the bruise on her cheek. He saw intelligence in her eyes, education in the way she spoke. This wasn't someone born into poverty. This was someone who'd fallen and couldn't climb back up. "What happened?" he asked. "How did you end up here?" Maya's expression closed off immediately. "That's not part of your experiment." "I'm not experimenting anymore." "Then what are you doing?" Good question. What was he doing? Sitting on a subway floor with a homeless woman and child, his entire schedule destroyed. His board probably drafting papers to remove him as CEO. And for what? For truth. For the first time in his life, Marcus was seeing unfiltered truth. "I'm trying to figure out what to do next," he admitted. "Next?" Maya pulled Lily closer protectively. "What does that mean?" "It means I can't just walk away now." "You can do whatever you want. You're a billionaire." "That's not how this works." "That's exactly how this works." Maya's voice hardened. "Rich people do experiments on poor people all the time. They write papers and give speeches and feel good about themselves. And then they go back to their perfect lives and forget we exist." "I won't forget." "You say that now." "I mean it." Maya laughed bitterly. "You know what rich people always say when they want to help? They say, 'I mean it.' Like words cost them something. Like promises have weight when you can buy your way out of any consequence." The accusation stung because it was true. Marcus had spent his entire adult life making promises he didn't keep. Commitments he abandoned when they became inconvenient. Charitable pledges he wrote off as tax deductions without ever checking if they helped anyone. "You're right," he said. Maya blinked. "What?" You're right. Words are cheap. Promises are meaningless. I've spent 17 years proving exactly that. Marcus stood up. So I won't make you any promises. I'll just show you. Show me what? Come with me. Fear flashed across Maya's face. Where? Somewhere warm. Somewhere safe. Somewhere you can finally breathe for 5 minutes without wondering if someone's going to hurt you or take what little you have left. I don't understand. I know, and I don't blame you for not trusting me. But I'm asking anyway. Marcus held out his hand. Come with me, both of you. Let me prove that not everyone with money is a monster. Maya looked at his outstretched hand like it might be a trap, and maybe it was. Maybe Marcus himself was a trap he didn't fully understand yet. But something in his expression must have convinced her to take a chance, because slowly, carefully, she reached out and took his hand. Her palm was calloused and cold and trembling. And when Marcus helped her to her feet, he felt like he was pulling himself up at the same time. Marcus took them to the Four Seasons on East Delaware Place. Not his penthouse. That felt too invasive, too much like a power play. Instead, he booked a 2-bedroom corner suite overlooking Lake Michigan. $2,800 per night, meaningless to him, transformative for them. Maya stood at the threshold, unable to cross it. It's okay, Marcus said gently. This is yours. No strings, no expectations. Just somewhere warm to sleep tonight. Lily had no such hesitation. She ran inside immediately, her new boots squeaking on polished hardwood. Mama, look! There's a TV and a couch! And look at the bathtub, it's huge! Maya finally stepped inside. She moved like someone walking through a dream, afraid any sudden movement would shatter the illusion. She set down the plastic bag containing everything she owned and just stood there, tears streaming silently down her face. Why are you doing this? She whispered. Marcus had been asking himself the same question for the past 3 hours. He still didn't have a good answer. Because you showed me something I'd forgotten existed, he said finally. Goodness. Real, unfiltered, unperformed goodness. And I realized I've spent 17 years becoming exactly what my father wanted. Successful and empty and completely detached from anything resembling humanity. I'm not some redemption project for your guilt. I know. I'm not a charity case you can fix to feel better about yourself. I know that too. Then what am I? Marcus looked at Lily, who was testing every cushion on the couch, delighted by their softness. He looked at Maya, exhausted and terrified and still fiercely protective of her daughter despite everything. You're someone who reminded me what money is actually supposed to do, he said quietly. Not accumulate, not impress, not control. Just help. Just make someone's impossible day slightly less impossible. Maya wiped her eyes. For how long? What? How long does this last? This hotel room? This sudden generosity? This whole thing? A day? A week? Until you get bored? As long as you need it to last. People don't just do things like this. Not for strangers. Not for people like me. Maybe they should. Maya studied his face, searching for lies or hidden agendas or cruelty disguised as kindness. Marcus let her look. He had nothing to hide because he didn't fully understand his own motivations yet. Finally, Maya spoke. I have conditions. Okay. I'm not a kept woman. I'm not going to be dependent on your charity forever. This is temporary, a bridge to something stable. Agreed. I want to work. I need to work. I need to support my daughter myself. We'll figure it out. And if at any point this feels like a trap, or you start acting like you own me because of this, I'm gone. I'd rather sleep on subway floors than owe my dignity to someone. Marcus nodded. Fair enough. Maya looked around the suite one more time, then at her daughter, exploring with pure joy. When she looked back at Marcus, her expression had softened slightly. "Thank you," she said. And those two words carried the weight of 5 months of hell. "Get some rest," Marcus replied. "Real rest. We'll talk tomorrow about next steps." He left before Maya could respond. As the door closed behind him, he heard Lily's excited voice.
"Mama, can we take a bath? A real bath with bubbles?"
And Maya's soft answer, "Yes, baby. We can take a real bath." Marcus stood in the hallway for a long moment, listening to their joy through the door. Then he pulled out his phone and called his attorney. "Andrew, I need you to draft documents for a new foundation. Full legal protection, board oversight, everything by the book." "What kind of foundation?" "Family stability, specifically for single parents facing homelessness. Comprehensive support, housing, job training, childcare, healthcare, education. No bureaucracy, no degrading applications. Just help extended with dignity." Andrew was quiet for several seconds. "Marcus, are you feeling all right? This is very unlike you." "I know. The board is going to have questions." "Let them ask." "This will cost millions, potentially hundreds of millions if done properly." "Good. I've got 14 billion just sitting there doing nothing useful. Put it to work. This is because of that homeless woman, isn't it? Jennifer told me about your experiment." Marcus looked at the closed hotel room door. Behind it, a mother and daughter were experiencing safety for the first time in months. And somehow, despite all his wealth and power and success, that felt more meaningful than anything Marcus had accomplished in 17 years. "It wasn't an experiment," Marcus said quietly. "It was a mirror, and I didn't like what I saw." The next morning, Marcus returned to the Four Seasons at 8 a.m. with coffee and fresh pastries from a bakery down the street. He knocked softly, aware that they might still be sleeping. Maya opened the door. She'd showered. Her hair was clean and braided, her face scrubbed. She was still wearing the same worn clothes, but she stood differently, straighter, less defeated. "Morning," Marcus said, offering the coffee. "Wasn't sure how you take it, so I got cream and sugar on the side." Maya took it with both hands, inhaling the steam like it was precious. "Black is fine. Thank you." Inside, Lily was coloring at the desk, her stuffed giraffe positioned carefully beside her. She looked up when Marcus entered and gave him a shy smile. "Hi, Mr. Marcus." "Hi, Lily. What are you drawing?" "It's you and Mama and me, see?" She held up the picture. 3 stick figures standing under a sun. "We're all happy." Something cracked in Marcus's chest. "It's beautiful." They sat together while Lily colored and Marcus laid out the plan he'd developed overnight. He'd called in favors, contacted specialists, opened doors that had been slammed in Maya's face for months. A 2-bedroom apartment in Rogers Park. Safe neighborhood, good schools, near public transportation. First 6 months subsidized, with option to continue based on income. Job training program through Malcolm X College. Medical coding certification. Stable work, good benefits, clear career progression. Tuition covered, books covered, child care during classes covered. Healthcare coverage through a program Marcus had personally funded that morning. School enrollment for Lily at Rogers Elementary. Before and after care program included. Maya listened in silence, tears streaming down her face again. When Marcus finished, she set down her coffee cup carefully, like she was afraid her shaking hands might drop it. "Why are you doing all this?" she asked for the 3rd time. And this time, Marcus had a real answer. Because yesterday, You had unlimited access to my wealth. You could have bought anything, gone anywhere, taken everything. And instead, you bought a coat for your daughter and donated to people worse off than you." He paused. "My father spent 40 years teaching me that people like you don't exist, that desperation makes everyone selfish, that poverty is a moral failing that proves weakness of character. And you proved him wrong, with receipts from Walgreens and Target." Marcus leaned forward. "You showed me that goodness isn't a luxury only rich people can afford. That generosity isn't about how much you have, it's about who you are when no one's watching." And I realized I've spent 17 years becoming exactly what my father wanted. Successful and miserable, and completely disconnected from anything resembling actual humanity. Maya wiped her eyes. "I'm not some angel. I've made terrible choices. I've failed at everything that matters." "You kept your daughter alive and safe for 5 months on the street. That's not failure. That's heroic." "I lost our apartment, lost my job, lost everything we had." "And you're still here, still fighting, still putting her first." Marcus gestured to Lily, contentedly coloring. "Look at her. She's drawing happy pictures. Despite everything, she still believes in happiness. That's because of you." Maya started to argue, but Marcus held up his hand. "This isn't charity," he said firmly. "This is an investment. You're intelligent, educated, capable. You just need a foundation to rebuild from. A place to stand so you can start climbing again." "I don't know how to repay you." "You already did. You showed me what money is actually for." Maya looked at her daughter, then back at Marcus. "I have one more condition." "Name it." "I want to help. Once I'm back on my feet, once I'm stable, I want to help other families like us. I want to be part of whatever foundation you're building." Marcus smiled. "I was hoping you'd say that. You'll be on the board. Your voice, your experience, your perspective. That's what's going to make this work." "I don't have any experience running foundations." "You have the only experience that matters. You've been there. You know what families actually need because you needed it. That's more valuable than any MBA." They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of impossible possibility hanging between them. Finally, Lily looked up from her drawing. "Mr. Marcus, does this mean we get to keep the apartment? Like, forever?" Marcus knelt down to her level. "As long as you need it, sweetheart. It's yours." Lily launched herself at him, wrapping small arms around his neck in a fierce hug. "Thank you for helping Mama. She's been sad for a really long time." Over Lily's shoulder, Marcus saw Maya completely break down, her hands covering her face, as 17 years of his own frozen emotions and 5 months of her desperation collided in that hotel room. When Lily finally released him, Marcus stood up and did something he hadn't done since his mother's funeral. He cried, not silent tears, but actual sobs that he couldn't control or hide or explain away. Maya walked over and put her hand on his arm. "Are you okay?" Marcus laughed through tears. "I don't know. I haven't felt anything real in so long, I forgot what it's supposed to feel like." "It's supposed to hurt," Maya said softly. "That's how you know it matters." 3 days later, Marcus's phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. He answered anyway. "Hello? Mr. Wellington?" A woman's voice, professional but strained. "This is Sarah Chen. I'm Maya's sister. I'm calling because Maya asked me to. She's in the hospital." Marcus was out of bed before she finished the sentence. "What happened? Is she okay? Is Lily—" "Lily's fine. She's with me. But Maya's in bad shape. She collapsed this afternoon. The doctors say it's pneumonia. Severe case. Her immune system is compromised from months of exposure and malnutrition. Marcus was already getting dressed. Which hospital? Northwestern Memorial. But visiting hours are over and I'll be there in 10 minutes. He made it in 7. The nurse at the ICU desk tried to stop him. Sir, visiting hours don't start until 8 a.m. You'll have to... I'm family, Marcus lied without hesitation. Name? Marcus Wellington. Check with Dr. Harrison if you need confirmation. He didn't know if there was a Dr. Harrison, but he said it with enough confidence that the nurse didn't question it. She checked her computer, frowned, then nodded. Room 437. But she's sedated. She won't know you're there. I'll know, Marcus said. Maya looked impossibly small in the hospital bed, hooked up to oxygen and IV lines. Her skin had a grayish tint that terrified him. A machine beeped steadily, monitoring vital signs that Marcus didn't understand but knew weren't good. He sat in the chair next to her bed and took her hand. It was still cold, still calloused, still trembling slightly, even in sedation. You can't do this, he told her unconscious form. You can't survive 5 months on the street and then die right when things finally got better. That's not how this story ends. Maya didn't respond. The machines kept beeping. Marcus stayed until dawn, holding her hand, talking to her about nothing and everything. He told her about the foundation paperwork being finalized, about the apartment in Rogers Park waiting for her, about Lily's school enrollment being processed, about all the impossible things that were suddenly possible. At 6:30 a.m., a doctor came in for rounds. You must be Marcus. Maya mentioned you before she lost consciousness. What did she say? The doctor smiled slightly. She said to tell you not to blame yourself, that she's been sick for weeks, but hid it because she didn't want you to think she was weak. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. She also said you changed her life, and that if anything happens to her, please make sure Lily knows she was loved. Marcus's throat closed completely. Nothing's going to happen to her. The pneumonia is severe, Mr. Wellington. The next 48 hours are critical. Her body has been through tremendous stress. Even with treatment, there's no guarantee. There's always a guarantee when you have enough money, Marcus interrupted. What does she need? Better doctors? Experimental treatments? Transfer to a different facility? Name it. The doctor held up his hands. We're doing everything possible. She's getting excellent care. What she needs now is rest, antibiotics, and time for her body to heal. That's not good enough. It's all we have. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to throw money at the problem until it fixed itself, wanted to do anything except sit helplessly while Maya fought for her life in a hospital bed. Instead, he just sat back down and took her hand again. Don't you dare give up now, he whispered. Not when Lily needs you. Not when I need you to prove my father wrong every single day for the rest of your life. The machines beeped steadily, and Marcus prayed for the first time since his mother died, begging a God he wasn't sure existed to save a woman he'd known for less than a week, but who'd somehow become essential to his entire worldview. 47 hours later, Maya opened her eyes. Marcus was still there, unshaven and exhausted, but there. He'd left twice, once to check on Lily at Sarah's apartment, once to shower and change clothes. Otherwise, he'd maintained vigil in that uncomfortable chair, holding Maya's hand through crisis and fever and moments when the machines screamed warnings that froze his blood. You stayed, Maya croaked, her voice destroyed from the breathing tube they'd removed that morning. Of course I stayed. You barely know me. I know enough. Maya tried to sit up, but her body wasn't ready. She fell back against the pillows, breathing hard. Hey, easy, Marcus said, adjusting her pillow. You've been through hell. Give yourself time to recover. Lily is fine. She's with your sister. I've been checking on her every day. She drew you pictures. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Maya photos of Lily's artwork. More stick figures, more suns, more happiness despite everything. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. For what? For being weak, for getting sick, for being more trouble than I'm worth. Stop. Marcus's voice came out sharper than intended. You survived 5 months of homelessness with a child. Your immune system crashed because you prioritized keeping Lily fed over keeping yourself healthy. That's not weakness. That's love. I should have been stronger. You should have been helped sooner. Marcus stood up and paced, anger and guilt churning in his chest. You shouldn't have had to survive those 5 months in the first place. No one should. And I spent 17 years walking past people like you, convincing myself it wasn't my problem, that poverty was a personal failure rather than a systemic collapse. Marcus, I could have helped hundreds of people like you years ago. Thousands. But I didn't, because my father taught me that compassion was weakness, and I was too cowardly to question him. Maya watched him pace, her expression unreadable. You can't save everyone. I can try. I should have tried. You're trying now.
That counts for something.
Marcus stopped pacing and looked at her. Does it? Or am I just trying to make myself feel better about 17 years of deliberate indifference? Why can't it be both? Maya asked quietly. Why can't you be genuinely trying to help while also processing your own guilt? Those things aren't mutually exclusive. Marcus had no answer for that. He sat back down heavily. I thought you were going to die. Sorry to disappoint. That's not funny. Little bit funny. Despite everything, Marcus laughed. You almost died, and you're making jokes. Gallows humor. Learned it in 5 months on the street. Maya's smile faded. Thank you for staying, for checking on Lily, for everything. You keep thanking me like this is a favor. It's not. It's the bare minimum of human decency. Marcus, the bare minimum is walking past me at the subway station. The bare minimum is maybe giving me $5 and feeling good about yourself. What you're doing is so far beyond the bare minimum, I don't even have words for it. Then don't use words. Just focus on getting better. Maya nodded slowly. What happens when I do? Get better, I mean. What's the plan? The plan is you move into the apartment in Rogers Park. Start the job training program. Get stable. Get strong. Help me build this foundation so other families don't have to go through what you went through. That's a good plan. It's the only plan. And if I fail? If I can't do it? Then we adjust the plan, but you won't fail. You don't know that. Marcus squeezed her hand gently. Yes, I do, because you've already survived the impossible. Everything else is just details. Maya closed her eyes, exhausted from even this short conversation. Stay until I fall asleep? I'll stay as long as you need. That might be a while. I've got nowhere more important to be. And he meant it. Somewhere in the past week, between credit card tests and hospital vigils and stick figure drawings, Marcus's priorities had fundamentally rearranged themselves. The board meetings didn't matter. The shareholders didn't matter. The empire his father built didn't matter. What mattered was sitting in an uncomfortable chair next to a woman who'd taught him that goodness still existed in a world that tried its hardest to kill it. Maya's breathing evened out as sleep claimed her. Marcus kept holding her hand anyway, watching machines monitor her recovery, and thought about his father. Richard Wellington had died believing that human nature was fundamentally selfish, that trust was foolish, that compassion was weakness. But he'd been wrong about everything that actually mattered, and Marcus was going to spend the rest of his life proving it. Maya opened her eyes on the 4th day, and the first thing she said was, I need to see Lily. She's at school, Marcus replied from the chair where he'd spent another sleepless night. Sarah's handling drop-off and pickup. Lily's doing fine. I need to see her myself. The doctor said, I don't care what the doctor said. Maya tried to sit up, winced, fell back. I've been away from her for 4 days. That's the longest we've ever been apart. She needs to know I'm okay. Marcus pulled out his phone. I'll call Sarah. We'll bring her after school. Now, Maya. Now, Marcus, please. Her voice broke on the last word. She thinks I abandoned her. She thinks I'm dying. She's 6 years old and she's already lost everything except me. I need her to see I'm still here. Marcus made the call. Sarah brought Lily at noon, sneaking her past the nurses, who insisted children under 12 weren't allowed in ICU. Lily took one look at her mother hooked up to machines and burst into tears. Mama, you're sick because of me. No, baby, no. Maya held out her arms, and Lily crawled carefully onto the bed, burying her face in her mother's shoulder. This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. I heard Aunt Sarah talking. She said you got sick because you gave me all the food, because you didn't eat enough. Maya shot a look at Sarah, who had the grace to look guilty. Lily, listen to me. I got sick because I was already sick and didn't tell anyone. That's on me, not you. But if we still had our house, stop. Maya cupped her daughter's face. We're going to have a house again. Mr. Marcus found us one. A real one, with 2 bedrooms and heat and everything. Lily looked at Marcus, who'd moved to stand by the window, giving them space. Is that true? It's true, Marcus confirmed. Your mom just needs to get better first. Then we'll move you both in. What if Mama doesn't get better? The question hung in the air like a grenade with the pin pulled. Marcus walked back to the bed and knelt down so he was eye level with Lily. Your mama survived 5 months on the street keeping you safe. She's the strongest person I've ever met. A little pneumonia isn't going to stop her. You promise? I promise. Lily studied his face with the brutal honesty of children evaluating adult lies. Whatever she saw must have satisfied her, because she nodded and turned back to her mother. Okay. But you have to get better fast, because I made you drawings, and they're really good, and you need to see them. Maya laughed, which turned into a cough that lasted 30 seconds. When she could breathe again, she said, I'll get better fast. I promise, too. Sarah left with Lily 20 minutes later. Maya fell asleep almost immediately, exhausted from even that brief interaction. Marcus stayed in his chair, watching her breathe, and thought about the promise he'd just made to a 6-year-old. He'd promised Maya would survive. He'd promised things would get better. He'd promised a future he had no guarantee he could deliver. His phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer. Board meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m., mandatory attendance. Chairman Blackwell is bringing lawyers. Marcus typed back, I'll be there. He wouldn't, but he typed it anyway. The next morning, Maya's fever finally broke. The doctor said she could move to a regular room by afternoon, could potentially go home in 3 to 5 days if she continued improving. Home, Maya repeated. I don't have a home. You will, Marcus said. The apartment's ready. I had it furnished yesterday. Nothing fancy, just basics. Beds, couch, kitchen table, dishes, towels, everything you need to move in. Maya stared at him. You furnished an entire apartment while I was unconscious? I had time. Marcus, I can't accept. You can and you will. Stop fighting me on this. I don't want to owe you. You don't owe me anything. This is what people with resources do when they're not complete monsters. They help. Most people with resources are complete monsters. I know. I was one of them until 6 days ago. Maya was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, Your board is going to fire you, aren't they? Marcus hadn't told her about the threatening texts, the angry voicemails, the rumors already circulating that he'd had some kind of breakdown. Probably because of me. Because I finally grew a conscience. You just happened to be the catalyst. That's not funny. It's a little funny. Marcus, Maya's voice went serious. I need you to understand something. If helping me destroys your life, I can't live with that. I've already destroyed too many things. You haven't destroyed anything. I destroyed my marriage, destroyed my career, destroyed every stable thing Lily ever had. What happened? Marcus asked quietly. You've never told me how you ended up on the street. Maya looked away. It's not a good story. Most true stories aren't. She was silent for so long, Marcus thought she wouldn't answer. Then she started talking, her voice flat and emotionless, like she was reciting facts about a stranger. I was a database analyst for a pharmaceutical company. Good job, good salary, benefits, stability. I married my college boyfriend when I was 24. We had Lily 2 years later. Everything was fine until it wasn't. What changed? He started drinking, just a little at first, then more. Then it was every night, and he couldn't hold down a job, and I was supporting all three of us on my salary alone. I told him to get help. He said he didn't have a problem. I believed him because I wanted to believe him. Marcus stayed quiet, letting her tell it at her own pace. Then one night he came home drunk, and Lily was crying because she was teething, and he screamed at her to shut up. I got between them, and he shoved me into the wall, hard enough that I hit my head and blacked out for a few seconds. When I came to, he was holding Lily and apologizing and crying and promising it would never happen again. But it did. 3 more times, each time worse than the last. The 4th time, he broke my wrist. I finally left, took Lily and whatever I could carry, and went to a women's shelter. Good. You'd think so, but the shelter had a 2-week limit. After that, you're supposed to have a plan. I didn't have one. I couldn't go back to my job because my ex knew where I worked, and the restraining order wasn't stopping him from showing up. I moved in with my sister Sarah for a while, but she was struggling too. 3 months later, she lost her apartment. We both ended up on the street. Where's your ex now? Dead. Drunk driving accident 6 months ago. Wrapped his car around a telephone pole. Marcus absorbed that. I'm sorry. I'm not. Does that make me a terrible person? It makes you honest. Maya finally looked at him. I failed her, Marcus. I'm her mother, and I failed to keep her safe. You kept her alive. You kept her fed. You kept her warm when you were freezing. You donated money to help other people when you were homeless yourself. That's not failure. That's heroism. Heroism would have been leaving him the first time he hit me. Heroism is leaving it all. Most people don't. Most people don't end up homeless with a 6-year-old. Most people don't survive it with their dignity intact. Maya wiped her eyes. Why do you keep saying things like that? Because they're true, and because someone needs to tell you that you're not the villain in your own story. The door opened, and a nurse came in to check vitals. Marcus stepped into the hallway to give them privacy. His phone rang immediately. Chairman Blackwell. He answered. Arthur. Marcus, what the hell is going on? Blackwell's voice was sharp enough to cut glass. You've missed 3 board meetings, you're not responding to emails, Jennifer says you're having some kind of personal crisis involving a homeless woman, and there are rumors you're planning to liquidate assets to start a charity foundation. The rumors are accurate. Silence. Then, you've lost your mind. Possibly. The board is convening an emergency session tomorrow morning to discuss your fitness as CEO. I strongly suggest you attend and provide reasonable explanation for your recent behavior. I'll think about it. Marcus, this isn't a request. If you don't show up, we will vote to remove you. Then vote. What? You heard me. If the board thinks removing me is the right call, then do it. I'm not going to waste time defending myself to people who think compassion is a mental illness. This is about more than compassion. This is about fiduciary responsibility. You have obligations, and I'm meeting them. The company is performing better than ever. Stock is up 17% this quarter. We just got FDA approval on 2 new drugs. My personal choices don't affect any of that. Your personal choices are affecting everything. You're becoming a liability. Marcus laughed. I'm becoming a human being. If that's a liability, then fire me. He hung up before Blackwell could respond. When he went back into Maya's room, she was sitting up, looking stronger than she had in days. That sounded intense. Board politics, nothing that matters. It matters if they fire you. They won't. You don't know that. I own 42% of the company. They can remove me as CEO, but they can't remove me from the board. And they definitely can't stop me from using my own money however I want. Maya shook her head. You're actually going to do this. Build the foundation. Help families like mine. I am. Why? Because 6 days ago you proved everything I believed about human nature was wrong. And if I was wrong about that, I need to know what else I've been wrong about. That's not a reason. That's an existential crisis. Maybe, but it's my existential crisis, and I'm going to do something productive with it. The nurse came back with discharge papers. Doctor says you can move to a regular room now. If you continue improving, you could go home Friday. Friday, 2 days away. Marcus immediately started planning. The apartment needed more supplies. He'd furnished it with basics, but Maya and Lily would need clothes, toiletries, food, school supplies for Lily. He pulled out his phone and started making lists. What are you doing? Maya asked. Making sure everything's ready for Friday. Marcus, stop. Stop what? Stop planning my life without asking me what I need. He looked up, surprised. I'm just trying to help. I know, but I need you to help differently. I need you to ask instead of assuming. I need you to let me have some control over what happens next. Marcus put down his phone. You're right. I'm sorry. What do you need? I need to know this isn't temporary. I need to know you're not going to wake up next week and realize this was all some guilt-driven impulse and abandon us. I won't. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. Maya, I've spent 17 years living a life that meant nothing, building wealth that brought zero joy, achieving success that felt completely empty. 6 days ago, you handed me receipts from Walgreens showing you donated money to help people worse off than you while you were homeless. That broke something fundamental in me. I can't go back to who I was. I don't want to. People always want to go back eventually, when helping gets hard or inconvenient or expensive. Then let me prove I'm different. Give me a chance to show you I mean it. Maya studied his face. Okay, but I have conditions. Name them. First, I pay rent. Even if it's just $50 a month at the start, I pay something. I'm not a charity case. Agreed. Second, I work. As soon as I'm healthy enough, I start the job training program. I support myself and Lily. Already planned. Third, you let me fail. If I mess up or fall back or can't handle it, you let me fail like a normal person instead of swooping in to fix everything. That one was harder. Define fail. If I can't make rent, I figure it out. If I struggle with the training program, I work harder. If I make bad choices, I live with consequences. And if failing means you and Lily end up back on the street? It won't. But if it does? Maya's jaw set stubbornly. Then we handle it. But I need to know I'm doing this myself, not just being carried by your money. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to say that preventing failure wasn't enabling, it was being smart. But he recognized the look in her eyes. He'd seen it in his own mirror after his father died, and everyone expected him to fall apart. The need to prove you could survive on your own terms. "Okay," he said finally. "You pay rent, you work, you fail or succeed on your own merits. But if things get genuinely dangerous, I'm stepping in. That's my condition." Deal. They shook hands like business partners instead of charity donor and recipient. And something shifted between them. Something that felt less like rescue and more like partnership. Maya moved to a regular room that afternoon. Sarah brought Lily to visit again, and this time Lily brought her backpack full of schoolwork to show her mother. "We're learning about butterflies," Lily announced, spreading papers across Maya's bed. "Did you know they start as caterpillars? And they build a cocoon and completely transform. Miss Rodriguez says it's called metamorphosis." "That's a big word," Maya said, smiling. "I can spell it. METAMORPHOSIS. See? I practiced." Marcus watched from the doorway as Lily chattered about school and butterflies and the new friend she'd made named Emma, who had the same birthday as her. He watched Maya's face light up, listening to her daughter talk about normal 6-year-old things instead of survival and fear. This was what he'd been missing his entire life. Not money or power or success. Just this. Connection. Purpose. The knowledge that his existence made someone's impossible day slightly less impossible. His phone buzzed. Email from Jennifer. "Board voted 8-3 to remove you as CEO, effective immediately. Formal announcement tomorrow morning." "I'm sorry, Marcus. For what it's worth, I think they're making a mistake." Marcus deleted the email without responding. Sarah noticed. "Bad news?" "Depends on your perspective." "They fired you, didn't they?" "Technically, they removed me as CEO. I still own 42% of the company and sit on the board. They just don't want me running day-to-day operations anymore." Maya sat up straighter. "Marcus, no, you can't lose your job because of us. I didn't lose anything that matters. Your entire career was making me miserable. This is the best thing that could have happened." "You're lying." "I'm really not. I hated that job. Hated the board meetings and the shareholder calls and the constant pressure to increase profits by cutting corners that hurt people. I've wanted out for years, but didn't have the courage to leave." "So you're saying getting fired is liberating?" "I'm saying it's freeing me up to focus on things that actually matter, like making sure this foundation launches properly, like making sure you and Lily have everything you need, like finally using my money for something other than accumulation." Sarah cleared her throat. "I should take Lily home. It's almost bedtime." "Can I stay with Mama tonight?" Lily asked. "Hospital rules," Sarah said gently. "But we'll come back tomorrow." Lily hugged Maya carefully, avoiding the IV lines. "Love you, Mama. Love you more, baby girl." After they left, Maya turned to Marcus. "You're really okay with losing your job?" "I'm really okay." "Most people would be devastated." "Most people didn't just get permission to spend the rest of their lives doing something meaningful instead of profitable." Maya laughed. "You're either the sanest person I've ever met or the craziest." "Probably both." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Thank you. For everything. For believing I was worth saving." "You were never the one who needed saving," Marcus said quietly. "I was." Friday came. Maya was discharged with instructions to rest, take antibiotics, follow up in 1 week. Marcus drove her and Lily to the apartment in Rogers Park himself, refusing to let them take the bus. The building was older, but well maintained. red brick with white trim, and a small front yard where someone had planted flowers that would bloom in spring. Third floor, 2-bedroom, hardwood floors, and big windows that let in actual sunlight. Marcus unlocked the door and stepped aside. "Welcome home." Maya walked in slowly, Lily clutching her hand. The apartment was exactly as Marcus had described. Basic furniture, nothing fancy. A couch in neutral beige. Kitchen table with 4 chairs. Beds with simple frames. But there were touches he hadn't mentioned. Fresh flowers on the kitchen counter. A welcome mat that said, "Home Sweet Home." Lily's bedroom had been painted pale purple, with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. "You painted her room," Maya whispered. "The landlord said it was okay. I figured she'd like purple since that's the color coat she picked out." Lily ran to her bedroom and screamed with delight.
Mama, look, it's perfect. It's so perfect.
Maya stood in the middle of the living room and cried. Not sad tears, not stressed tears, just overwhelmed tears from someone who'd spent 5 months convinced she'd never feel safe again. Marcus handed her a tissue. "You okay?" "I don't know how to be okay yet, but I think I'm learning." "That's all anyone can do." Maya walked through each room, touching walls like she couldn't believe they were real. The bathroom had clean towels. The kitchen had dishes and pots and pans. The refrigerator was stocked with basics: milk, eggs, bread, butter, fruit. "Marcus, this is too much." "This is the bare minimum." "No, the bare minimum would have been an empty apartment and a good luck wish. This is," she gestured helplessly, "this is everything." "Then you deserve everything." Lily came running back. "Mama, can we stay here? Can this really be our house?" Maya knelt down and pulled her daughter close. "Yes, baby, this is really our house. Forever? For as long as we need it." "I love it so much." Lily hugged her mother tight. "Thank you for getting us a house again, Mama." Marcus felt his chest crack open. Because Lily didn't thank him, she thanked her mother. Because even at 6 years old, she understood that her mother was the one who'd fought and survived and kept them alive until help finally came. He left them to settle in, drove home to his empty penthouse, and realized he didn't want to be there. The space felt sterile and cold and utterly devoid of the warmth he'd just left behind in that modest third-floor apartment. His phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Wellington? This is Detective Rodriguez, Chicago PD. I'm calling about an incident involving Sarah Chen and your connection to her sister, Maya." Marcus's blood went cold. "What happened? Is Sarah okay? Is Lily?" "Everyone's fine. But we arrested someone tonight. Maya's ex-husband's brother. He was outside Sarah's apartment building with a knife, asking neighbors about Maya's whereabouts. Her ex-husband is dead." "Yes, but apparently his brother blames Maya for the death. Says she drove him to drink, caused the accident. He's been looking for her for 2 months." Marcus sat down heavily. "Where is he now?" "Jail. Assault with a deadly weapon, making terroristic threats, violation of restraining order extension. He won't make bail. But Mr. Wellington, Maya needs to know. She needs to be careful." "I'll tell her." Marcus hung up and immediately called Maya. She answered on the first ring, voice happy and relaxed for the first time since he'd met her. "Marcus, hi! We just finished unpacking. Lily wants to thank you for the stars on her ceiling. Maya, I need you to listen carefully. Derek's brother was arrested tonight outside Sarah's old apartment. He was looking for you." Silence. Then Maya's voice, small and terrified. "He found us." "No, he found Sarah's old address. He doesn't know about Rogers Park, but we need to be careful. I should leave. I should take Lily and disappear before—" "No, you're not running anymore. We're handling this together." "Marcus, You don't understand. Derek's brother Travis is worse than Derek ever was. He's dangerous. Really dangerous. Then we get better security, better locks, maybe a protection detail until... Protection details cost money I don't have. But I do. I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. Maya, you just got safe for the first time in 5 months. I'm not letting some violent asshole take that away from you. Maya was crying now. This is exactly what I was afraid of, that helping us would drag you into our mess. I'm already in the mess, and I'm not leaving. You should. You really should. But I won't. Marcus stayed on the phone with Maya for another hour, talking her down from panic, promising security measures he'd arrange by morning. When he finally hung up, it was past midnight, and he couldn't sleep. He sat at his laptop, researching private security firms, better locks, safety systems, anything that would keep Maya and Lily protected from a violent man who blamed them for his brother's self-destruction. At 3 a.m, his phone rang again. Maya.
He's here, she whispered, voice shaking. Travis is outside the building. I can see him from the window. He's just standing there, looking up.
Did you call 911?
Yes, but the police said it'll be 15 minutes. Marcus, he knows which apartment. He's staring right at our windows.
Lock every door. Push furniture against them. Get Lily into the bathroom. No windows. I'm on my way.
Don't. He's dangerous. He put 2 men in the hospital last year.
I don't care. Marcus was already grabbing his keys. Stay on the phone with me. Keep talking so I know you're okay. He heard Maya moving through the apartment, her breathing rapid and panicked. Lily's sleepy voice asking what was happening. Maya trying to sound calm, while terror bled through every word.
It's okay, baby. We're just playing a game. We're going to sit in the bathroom for a little while. Why? Because Mama said so.
Marcus ran 3 red lights, getting to Rogers Park. His hands shook on the steering wheel, his mind racing through worst-case scenarios. What if Travis broke in before police arrived? What if he hurt them? What if Marcus got there and found... He couldn't finish the thought. When he pulled up to the building, Travis was still standing on the sidewalk, staring up at the 3rd floor. He was bigger than Marcus expected, over 6 feet, heavily muscled, with the same dead eyes Marcus had seen in his father during his worst rages. Marcus got out of the car. Travis turned slowly, looking him up and down with contempt. You the sugar daddy? I'm the person telling you to leave. Now. Travis laughed. You're telling me? That's funny. You know what's funnier? Thinking you can protect her. Thinking you can buy your way into playing hero. The police are already on their way. Good. I'll wait. Travis pulled out a cigarette, lit it, blew smoke in Marcus's direction. I got nothing but time. And eventually, they'll leave. Cops always leave. And then it's just me and Maya having a conversation about what she owes my family. She doesn't owe you anything. She owes me a brother. She destroyed him, turned him into a drunk who couldn't hold down a job, couldn't support his family. Then she left him to die alone. Your brother beat her, broke her wrist, terrorized a 6-year-old child. He destroyed himself. Travis took a step forward. You don't know what you're talking about. I know Maya Chen better than you ever will. I know she's a survivor who kept her daughter alive through hell. I know she donated money to homeless shelters while she was homeless herself. I know she's 10 times the person your brother ever was. Big words from a rich boy who's never had to fight for anything. You're right. I haven't. But I'll fight for them. Travis smiled, and it was the smile of someone who enjoyed causing pain. You sure about that? Because fighting me won't be like firing employees or crushing competitors. Fighting me means blood and broken bones and waking up in a hospital, if you wake up at all. Marcus's heart hammered against his ribs. He'd never been in a real fight in his life, never faced actual physical violence. But he thought about Lily hiding in a bathroom, terrified. He thought about Maya, who'd survived so much and deserved to feel safe in her own home. "I'm sure," Marcus said. Travis flicked his cigarette away and was moving before Marcus could react. One punch to the stomach drove all air from Marcus's lungs. A second to his jaw sent him stumbling backward. Stars exploded across his vision. "Stop!" Maya's voice from above. She was leaning out the window, phone in hand. "I'm recording this, Travis. Everything you're doing is on video. The police are 3 minutes away. If you touch him again, you're going back to jail for assault." Travis looked up at her. "Come down here and face me yourself, Maya. Stop hiding behind your money." "He's not my money. He's my friend. And you're going to leave him alone." "Or what?" "Or I'll make sure every single person in your life knows what you really are. Your job, your girlfriend, your probation officer, everyone. I'll send them this video. I'll tell them everything about what you and Derek did to me and Lily. I'll make sure you lose everything the same way you tried to make me lose everything." Travis's expression darkened. "You threatening me?" "I'm promising you. Leave now, or I destroy your life the way you tried to destroy mine." Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. Travis looked at Marcus, still on the ground and struggling to breathe, then back up at Maya. "This isn't over," he said. "Yes, it is. Because if you come near me or my daughter or Marcus ever again, I will press charges for every single thing you've done, including the times you helped Derek hide evidence after he beat me. I kept quiet before to protect Lily from the trauma of testifying, but I won't stay quiet anymore." 2 police cars pulled up, officers emerging with hands on weapons. Travis raised his hands slowly, that horrible smile still on his face. "Just visiting family, officers. No crime in that." "Sir, step away from the man on the ground." Travis walked backward slowly, hands still raised. "Tell Maya I'll see her around." "Sir, you're in violation of a restraining order. You're under arrest." They cuffed him while he laughed. While they read him his rights, he kept laughing, kept looking up at Maya's window, like this was all just a joke he'd get the punchline to, eventually. Marcus managed to sit up as paramedics arrived. One of them, a young woman with kind eyes, knelt beside him. "Sir, can you tell me your name?" "Marcus Wellington." "Mr. Wellington, you took some hard hits. We need to check you for concussion, possible fractured ribs." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You can barely breathe." Maya appeared beside them, having run down from the apartment. Lily was with Sarah, who'd arrived during the chaos. Maya dropped to her knees next to Marcus. "You idiot! You complete idiot! Why did you confront him? Why didn't you wait for the police?" "Because you were scared." "So you got yourself beaten up instead? That's your solution?" "It worked, didn't it? He's in custody." Maya's hands were shaking as she touched his face gently, checking for damage. "You could have been killed." "But I wasn't." "Marcus." "I told you I wouldn't let anyone hurt you. I meant it." Tears streamed down Maya's face. "This isn't what I meant when I said I wanted to handle things myself. I didn't mean I wanted you to become my personal bodyguard and get hurt protecting me." "Too late. Already hurt. Might as well make it count." The paramedic intervened. "Mr. Wellington needs to go to the hospital for evaluation. Ma'am, you can ride with us if you want." Maya looked back at the building where Lily was watching from Sarah's arms, then at Marcus, who couldn't stand up without help. She made a decision. "Sarah, can you stay with Lily?" "Of course. I'll be back in a few hours." "Take as long as you need." In the ambulance, Maya held Marcus's hand while the paramedic checked his vitals. 2 cracked ribs, severe bruising, possible concussion. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to hurt for weeks. "You're an idiot," Maya said again. You mentioned that. I'm going to keep mentioning it until it sinks in. You don't fight violent criminals, Marcus. You're a billionaire, not Batman. Former CEO. The billionaire part is still accurate, though. This isn't funny. Little bit funny. Maya squeezed his hand hard enough to hurt. If you ever do something this stupid again, I'll kill you myself. Noted. At the hospital, they kept Marcus for observation overnight. Maya refused to leave despite the nurses telling her visiting hours were over. She pulled a chair next to his bed and sat there, arms crossed, glaring at him. What? Marcus asked. I'm trying to figure out if you're brave or just reckless. Can't it be both? No. Brave means calculated risk for good reason. Reckless means getting punched in the face by someone twice your size because you don't know when to walk away. He was threatening you. So you decided to fight him with zero training, zero backup, and zero plan? The plan was to keep him busy until police arrived. By using your face as a punching bag? Marcus laughed, which made his ribs scream in protest. Okay, maybe it wasn't my best plan. Maya's expression softened slightly. Why did you really do it? Because for 17 years, I watched my father hurt people and did nothing. I told myself it wasn't my responsibility, that I couldn't change anything, that getting involved would only make things worse. But that was just cowardice, dressed up as pragmatism. Fighting Travis wasn't about me. It was about your father. Maybe. Or maybe it was about finally being the kind of person who doesn't walk away when someone needs help. Maya was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Thank you for being there, for being stupid and brave and reckless and everything else. Thank you." You're welcome. But if you ever do it again, I'm seriously going to kill you. Fair enough. They sat in comfortable silence until Maya's phone rang. Sarah. Everything okay? Maya asked immediately. Define okay. Lily's fine. She's asleep. But there are reporters outside the building. Lots of them. They're asking about Marcus Wellington, about you, about what happened tonight. Someone must have leaked the story. Maya looked at Marcus, who'd gone very still. How many reporters? At least a dozen. News vans, cameras, the whole thing. They're saying Marcus Wellington, former CEO of Wellington Pharmaceuticals, was assaulted defending a homeless woman he'd recently befriended. It's everywhere. Twitter, news websites. Everywhere. Marcus pulled out his phone. 17 missed calls. 43 unread emails. His notifications were exploding with tags and mentions. The story was already viral. Billionaire fights for homeless single mother. Former CEO hospitalized protecting woman from abusive ex. Marcus Wellington's secret charity work revealed. Oh no, Maya whispered. This is going to ruin everything. What do you mean? Don't you see? Now everyone knows about us, about you helping me. This isn't private anymore. This is a story. And stories have consequences. Marcus's phone rang. Jennifer. Don't answer it, Maya said. I have to. Marcus, please, once you answer, once you engage with this, there's no going back. Your privacy is gone. My privacy is gone. Lily's safety is compromised because now everyone knows where we live, what we look like, everything. What do you want me to do? Disappear? Pretend tonight didn't happen? I want you to think about what this means. You're not just Marcus Wellington, private citizen anymore. You're Marcus Wellington, the billionaire who fights for the homeless. That's a role you can't undo. Maybe I don't want to undo it. Maya stood up, pacing. You say that now, but wait until the think pieces start. Wait until people accuse you of doing this for publicity. Wait until they dig into my past, find out about Derek, about the restraining orders, about everything I've tried to keep private to protect Lily. Wait until strangers on the internet decide they know everything about our lives based on one viral story. We'll handle it. How? How do you handle strangers judging every choice you make? How do you handle Lily's classmates finding out her mom was homeless? How do you handle the constant scrutiny and the invasion and the complete loss of privacy? The same way you've handled everything else, one day at a time. That's not good enough anymore. This isn't just about surviving. This is about living under a microscope, and I didn't sign up for that. Marcus's phone rang again. Different number. Then again. Then again. Media requests flooding in. Everyone wanting the story, wanting interviews, wanting to know details about the billionaire and the homeless woman and the dramatic rescue. Maya watched the phone light up repeatedly. It's already too late, isn't it? I think so. So what do? We tell the truth, on our terms, before someone else twists it into something it's not. I don't want to tell the truth. I want to disappear again. I want Lily to be safe and anonymous and just a normal kid instead of the homeless girl the billionaire saved. She's not the homeless girl. She's Lily Chen, brilliant first grader who knows how to spell metamorphosis and loves purple and draws pictures of butterflies. That's who she is. That's who she'll always be. Until the media makes her into something else. Marcus set down his phone. Maya, look at me. We can control this. We can tell our story the right way. We can use this attention to actually help other families instead of just becoming tabloid fodder. How? Press conference. Tomorrow. We explain what happened. We announce the foundation. We make this about the cause instead of about us. That's insane. Probably, but it's better than hiding and letting everyone else define our narrative. Maya stopped pacing. You're actually serious about this? Completely. And if I say no? If I tell you I can't handle being in the spotlight, that I need privacy to heal and rebuild my life? Then we find another way. But Maya, the story is already out there. We can either shape it or let it shape us. I'd rather shape it. Maya looked at her phone, at the news alerts still pouring in. Then at Marcus, battered and bruised, but determined. Finally, she nodded. Okay, we tell the truth. But on one condition. Name it. Lily stays out of it completely. No photos, no interviews, no using her as some poster child for homelessness. She gets to be a normal kid. Agreed. And if this goes badly, if the attention becomes too much, you let me walk away. You let me take Lily somewhere quiet and rebuild without cameras following us. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to say he'd protect them no matter what. But he recognized the steel in Maya's voice. She'd survived too much to surrender autonomy again. If you want to walk away, I won't stop you. But I hope you won't have to. Maya sat back down, suddenly exhausted. I can't believe this is happening. 2 weeks ago, I was sleeping on subway floors. Now I'm planning a press conference with a billionaire. Life comes at you fast. That's not funny. Little bit funny. Despite everything, Maya smiled. You're impossible. You mentioned that too. A nurse came in to check Marcus's vitals and insisted Maya leave so he could rest. Maya stood reluctantly. I'll be back in the morning. We'll figure out the press conference details then. Maya? Yeah? Thank you. For not running. For trusting me enough to face this together. Don't thank me yet. I might still change my mind and flee to Canada. Fair enough. After she left, Marcus lay in the dark hospital room, listening to machines beep and distant voices in the hallway. His ribs ached. His jaw throbbed. Every breath hurt. but he felt more alive than he had in 17 years. His phone buzzed one more time. Text from an unknown number. Saw the news. Proud of you, son. Mom would have been too. Marcus stared at the message. No one called him son anymore. Not since his father died. He checked the sender details, but the number was blocked. He typed back. Who is this? No response. Marcus set down the phone and closed his eyes. Tomorrow would bring press conferences and media scrutiny and decisions that would affect the rest of his life. But tonight, in this moment, he let himself feel something he'd thought was dead. Hope. The next morning, Marcus discharged himself against medical advice. The doctor protested, warned about complications, insisted he needed at least another day of observation. Marcus signed the forms and left anyway. Maya picked him up at the entrance, Sarah and Lily waiting in the car. Lily's eyes went wide when she saw Marcus's bruised face.
Mr. Marcus, you look like a superhero who fought a villain.
I fought a villain. The villain won.
But you saved Mama. That means you won.
Marcus climbed carefully into the passenger seat, every movement causing fresh waves of pain. I guess that's one way to look at it. Sarah drove them back to Rogers Park, where the media presence had somehow tripled overnight. At least 20 reporters and camera crews camped outside the building. Back door, Sarah suggested. No, Marcus said. We face them now. Get it over with. You can barely walk, Maya protested. I can walk well enough to make a statement. They pulled up to the front entrance. Immediately, reporters swarmed the car, shouting questions, cameras flashing. Mr. Wellington, is it true you were fired for helping homeless people? Maya, how long have you and Marcus been together? Is this a publicity stunt for your foundation? Marcus opened his door slowly, painfully. Maya got out on the other side. Sarah stayed in the car with Lily, doors locked. Marcus raised one hand, and somehow, miraculously, the crowd quieted slightly. I'll make one statement, then we're done. No questions, no follow-up, just this. Cameras focused, phones recorded. 2 weeks ago, I gave Maya Chen my credit card for 24 hours. No limits, no restrictions. I wanted to test whether my father was right about human nature, whether desperate people are inherently selfish, whether poverty destroys compassion. He paused, making eye contact with as many reporters as possible. Maya spent that money on a winter coat for her daughter, on food, on medicine, and she donated $100 to a homeless shelter despite being homeless herself. She proved my father wrong about everything, and in doing so, she changed my life completely. Reporters shouted more questions. Marcus ignored them. Last night, a violent man threatened Maya and her daughter. I intervened. I got hurt. Some people are calling it heroic. It wasn't. It was just basic human decency. Something I should have been practicing my entire life, instead of treating people as experiments or investments or problems to be solved. Maya stood beside him, tears streaming down her face. In 3 months, we'll be launching the Wellington Foundation for Family Stability. Comprehensive support for single parents facing homelessness. No applications, no bureaucracy, no degrading processes. Just help extended with dignity. Maya Chen will serve on the board because she has expertise no amount of money can buy. She's been there. She survived. And she'll help make sure other families don't have to. He reached for Maya's hand. She took it without hesitation.
That's all I have to say. Please respect our privacy. Please respect Lily's privacy. She's 6 years old and deserves to be a kid, not a story. They walked into the building together, leaving the shouting reporters behind. In the elevator, Maya finally spoke. That was either really brave or really stupid.
Seems to be my pattern lately. The foundation announcement. You didn't tell me you were going public with details. Sorry. Seemed like the right moment. 3 months is ambitious. Good thing I don't have a job to distract me anymore. Maya laughed despite herself. You're absolutely insane. You mentioned that multiple times. I'm going to keep mentioning it. I'm counting on it. They reached the apartment. Sarah had gotten Lily upstairs through the back entrance. Inside, Lily was watching the news coverage on TV, eyes wide. Mama, you're on TV! Maya immediately turned it off. No watching news. It's not healthy. But you're famous now. We're not famous, baby. We're just people who had something happen, and other people are interested. It'll pass. Mr. Marcus said you're going to help lots of families. We're going to try. Lily looked at Marcus. Does that mean you'll be around more? Like, all the time? Marcus glanced at Maya, unsure how to answer. Maya nodded slightly. Yeah, kiddo. I'll be around. Good. Lily went back to her coloring. You're my favorite grown-up who's not Mama or Aunt Sarah. High praise. Sarah checked her watch. I need to get to work. Will you guys be okay? We'll manage, Maya said. After Sarah left, Maya made coffee while Marcus sat carefully on the couch, trying to find a position that didn't hurt. Lily brought him her coloring book. Will you color with me? I'm not very good at coloring. That's okay. I'll teach you. For the next hour, Marcus colored butterflies with a 6-year-old who patiently corrected him when he went outside the lines. Maya watched from the kitchen, drinking coffee, occasionally smiling at their interaction. This was his life now. Coloring books and bruised ribs, and media circuses and press conferences. Helping families rebuild instead of building empires. Being present instead of powerful. His phone buzzed. Email from Jennifer. The board wants to meet. They're reconsidering the removal. Apparently saving homeless people and getting assaulted is good for the stock price. It's up 23% since last night. Marcus deleted the email without responding. What was that? Maya asked. The board wanting me back. And? And I don't care. Marcus, if they want you back as CEO, you should consider it. That's your career, your legacy. My legacy is going to be helping families like yours. The CEO position can go to someone who actually wants it. Maya sat down next to him. You're really okay walking away from everything you built? I didn't build it. My father did. I just maintained it. Maintained his vision, his values, his complete disregard for human suffering as long as profits stayed high. I don't want that anymore. What do you want? Marcus looked at Lily, carefully coloring a butterfly's wings in purple. Then at Maya, exhausted but safe and healing. This, he said simply. I want this. 2 weeks after the press conference, Maya started her medical coding training program at Malcolm X College. Marcus drove her to the first day, despite her protests that she could take the bus. It's on my way, he lied. It wasn't on his way to anywhere. He just wanted to make sure she got there safely. Maya sat in the passenger seat, fidgeting with her backpack straps. What if I can't do this? What if I'm too far behind everyone else? I haven't been in a classroom in 8 years. You'll be fine. You don't know that. You survived 5 months on the street with a 6-year-old. You can handle a coding class. That's different. Survival is instinct. Learning is... it's different. Marcus pulled up to the campus entrance. Students streamed past, most of them younger than Maya, confident in ways she wasn't anymore. He watched her watch them, saw the fear creeping into her expression. Maya, look at me. She turned reluctantly. You're going to walk in there, and you're going to learn everything they teach you, and you're going to be brilliant at it. Not because I'm paying for it, not because you owe anyone anything, but because you're smart and capable, and you've already proven you can do impossible things. What if I fail? Then you try again. That was your condition, remember? You get to fail like a normal person. Maya smiled slightly. I'm regretting that condition. Too late. You're stuck with it. She got out of the car, took 3 steps toward the building, then came back. Marcus? Yeah? Thank you. For everything. For believing I could do this when I didn't believe it myself. You're welcome. Now go learn how to code medical records so you can support yourself and stop needing my help. That's the plan. He watched her walk into the building, shoulders squared, pretending to be braver than she felt. Then he drove to the foundation office he'd rented downtown and spent 6 hours on the phone with lawyers, accountants, social workers, housing advocates, and city officials. Building the infrastructure to help families required navigating bureaucracy that made corporate mergers look simple. By the time he picked Maya up at 4, he had a headache that felt like someone was hammering nails into his skull. How was it? He asked when she got in the car. Maya's face was flushed, her eyes bright. Hard, really hard, but good. The instructor said I have good instincts for pattern recognition. And I met someone, another single mom, Keisha. She's been homeless too. We're going to study together. That's great. Yeah, it is. Maya looked at him more carefully. You look terrible. Thanks. No, I mean, you look exhausted. When's the last time you slept? Marcus tried to remember. Tuesday? It's Thursday. Then Tuesday. Marcus, you can't keep doing this. Running yourself into the ground, trying to build this foundation while also taking care of us. You need help. I'm fine. You're not fine. You're burning out. I've handled worse. When? When have you handled building a multi-million-dollar foundation from scratch while recovering from cracked ribs and dealing with media attention and driving me to school every day? Marcus didn't have an answer for that. Maya pulled out her phone. I'm calling Jennifer. You need to hire an actual staff instead of trying to do everything yourself. Jennifer works for the company. She quit yesterday. Didn't you check your email? I've been busy. She quit because she said watching you get fired for having a conscience made her realize she was working for the wrong people. She wants to work for the foundation. And you're going to hire her because you need help and she's good at her job. Marcus stared at Maya. When did you talk to Jennifer? She called me 3 days ago. Asked if I thought you'd be insulted if she offered to help. I said you'd be too stubborn to ask, but too desperate to refuse. Was I right? Probably. So I'm calling her, and you're going to say yes. Jennifer showed up at the foundation office the next morning with coffee, a detailed organizational plan, and a list of people she'd already contacted about joining the team. Within a week, they had a program director, 2 case managers, and a part-time accountant. Within 2 weeks, they had their first family ready to receive support. Robert and Danielle Martinez, married 12 years, 3 kids under 10, living in their car after Robert's construction company went bankrupt, and Danielle's hours got cut at the grocery store where she worked. They'd been on a waiting list for affordable housing for 8 months. Marcus met them at a diner on the south side. Robert was defensive from the start, arms crossed, jaw tight. I don't need charity. I can take care of my family. I know you can, Marcus said calmly. That's not what this is. Then what is it? Temporary support while you get back on your feet. Housing assistance, job training if you want it, childcare so Danielle can work full-time. We help until you don't need help anymore. And what do you want in return? Nothing. Just for you to help the next family when you're stable. Robert looked at Danielle, who had tears in her eyes. Then back at Marcus. Why? Why do you care about people like us? Marcus thought about Maya, about receipts from Walgreens showing donations to homeless shelters. Because someone proved to me that people deserve help without having to earn it first. And I'm trying to live up to that lesson. The Martinez family moved into an apartment 2 weeks later. Robert enrolled in an electrician certification program. Danielle went full-time at the grocery store and started taking online business classes at night. Their kids started school with new backpacks and clothes that actually fit. It was working. The foundation was actually working. Then Marcus's phone rang at 2 a.m. 3 weeks later. Maya, crying so hard she could barely speak. "She's gone. Marcus, she's gone." "Who's gone?" "Maya, slow down. What happened?"
"Lily. I woke up and checked on her, and her bed is empty, and the window is open, and she's gone."
Marcus was already getting dressed.
"Did you call 911? "They're on their way, but Marcus, what if Travis took her? What if he got out of jail and took her?"
"Travis is still locked up. I checked yesterday. He hasn't made bail."
"Then where is she?"
"I'm coming over. Lock the doors. Don't leave the apartment. I'll be there in 10 minutes. He made it in 7. Police were already there, 2 officers taking Maya's statement while she fell apart. Her hands shook so badly she couldn't hold the glass of water one officer tried to give her. "When did you last see her?" the older officer asked.
"Bedtime, 9 o'clock. She was fine. She was happy. She drew a picture of her teacher, and we read a story about butterflies, and I tucked her in, and she was fine."
"Any signs of forced entry?"
"The window was unlocked. But I always lock it. I know I locked it."
Marcus pulled the officer aside. "There's been threats against this family. Maya's ex-husband's brother has been making threats. He's in jail right now, but he might have friends. We're checking all possibilities, but sir, most missing children cases involving open windows and no forced entry are runaways. She's 6 years old. Where would she run to? Family arguments? Trouble at school? Any reason she might want to leave?" Maya overheard. "No, nothing. She loves school. She's happy here. She wouldn't just leave." "Ma'am, I have to ask, is there any possibility she went to find her father?" "Her father is dead." The officer nodded, made a note. "We're issuing an Amber Alert. We'll search the neighborhood, check with relatives, canvass for witnesses. Most kids her age don't get far. We'll find her." After the police left to start their search, Maya collapsed on the couch, her whole body shaking. "This is my fault. I should have checked the window. Should have made sure it was locked. Should have—" "Stop. This isn't your fault.
She's 6 years old and alone out there, and it's the middle of the night. And what if someone takes her? What if she's scared? What if—"
Marcus's phone rang. "Sarah." "Please tell me Lily's with you," he answered.
"No, but Marcus, I just got a weird call from the night security guard at my building. He said a little girl matching Lily's description was trying to get into the building about an hour ago."
He didn't let her in because she was alone, and he thought it was suspicious. She ran off before he could call police. "Which direction?" "North, on Clark Street." Marcus hung up and grabbed his coat. "Lily went to Sarah's old building. She's heading north on Clark." "Why would she go there?" "I don't know, but we need to find her before—" Maya was already out the door, running for the stairs. Marcus followed, calling 911 to update them on Lily's possible location. They drove slowly down Clark Street, both of them scanning sidewalks and alleys and doorways. Nothing. No sign of her anywhere. Where would she go? Maya kept repeating. Where would she go? Marcus tried to think like a 6-year-old who'd lived through homelessness. Where did they used to stay before getting the apartment? Where felt safe? "Union Station," he said suddenly. "That's where I first met you. That's where you stayed most nights, right?" Maya's eyes went wide. Oh God, she's going back to where she felt safe with me. She's going to the subway station. They drove to Union Station, parked illegally, and ran inside. It was nearly 3 a.m, and the station was mostly empty except for a few homeless people sleeping in corners and late-night workers waiting for trains. Then Marcus saw her. Small figure in purple pajamas, sitting exactly where Maya used to sit, clutching her stuffed giraffe Hope, crying quietly. "Lily!" Maya screamed and ran. Lily looked up, saw her mother, and burst into fresh sobs. "Mama!" Maya dropped to her knees and pulled Lily into her arms, holding her so tight the child gasped. "What were you thinking? Why did you leave? You scared me to death." "I had to come back," Lily sobbed. "I had to." "Why, baby? Why did you have to come back here?" "Because I forgot to say thank you. We left so fast when Mr. Marcus took us to the hotel, and I forgot to say thank you to the place where we survived." "Mama, you always said we should be grateful for places that kept us safe, and I forgot to be grateful." Maya started crying harder. "Oh, sweetheart, you don't have to thank a subway station." "But we do. We have to thank everything that helped us. That's what you taught me. You said even when things are bad, we find things to be grateful for." Marcus knelt down beside them. "Lily, you can't leave the apartment in the middle of the night. It's not safe." "I know. I'm sorry, but I had to. I had a dream that the subway station was sad, because we forgot about it. And Mama always says we don't forget people who help us." "Subway stations aren't people, baby," Maya said gently. "But they helped us anyway. This floor kept us off the cold ground. These walls kept the wind away. This is where Mr. Marcus found us. This is where everything changed. We have to be grateful." Police arrived, having tracked them through the 911 call Marcus made. The same older officer from earlier approached. "Everyone okay here?" "We're okay," Maya said, still holding Lily. She came to say thank you to the place where we used to sleep." The officer's expression softened. "That right, sweetheart? You came to say thank you?" Lily nodded, wiping her eyes. "We're supposed to be grateful, even for hard things. Mama taught me." The officer crouched down. "That's a good lesson. But next time you need to say thank you to something, you tell your mama first, okay? Don't go wandering off alone at night." "Okay, I'm sorry. You're forgiven. But you gave your mama quite a scare." They took Lily home. Marcus stayed while Maya put her back to bed, this time checking the window 3 times to make sure it was locked. When she came back to the living room, she looked 10 years older than she had that morning. "I can't do this," she whispered. "Do what?" "Be a good mother. Keep her safe. I thought getting the apartment would fix everything, but she's still traumatized, still processing everything we went through, and I don't know how to help her." "You're already helping her. You taught her gratitude in the middle of homelessness. You taught her kindness when the world gave her every reason to be bitter. Those aren't small things, Maya." She ran away in the middle of the night to thank a subway station. That's not normal. She's not a normal 6-year-old. She's been through things no child should experience. But she's also one of the kindest kids I've ever met. That's because of you. Maya sat down heavily. "I need help. Professional help. She needs therapy. I need therapy. We need someone who actually knows what they're doing instead of just surviving day to day. I'll set it up tomorrow. Trauma counselor who specializes in childhood homelessness. Whatever you need." "I can't afford. The foundation covers it. That's what we're here for." Maya looked at him. "You're including therapy in the foundation services?" "Of course. Housing and jobs aren't enough if the trauma doesn't get addressed. Every family we help gets access to mental health services." "That's going to cost a fortune." "Then it's a good thing I have a fortune to spend." Maya started laughing, which turned into crying, which turned into laughing again. "I'm losing my mind." "You're processing trauma. There's a difference." "Is there?" "I think so. I've been in therapy 3 times a week for the past month. It's helping. Maya looked surprised. You're in therapy? Yeah. Turns out 17 years of emotional suppression doesn't just disappear because you have a good deed crisis. My therapist says I have what's called delayed processing of childhood trauma, manifesting as adult rescuer complex. That sounds made up. I said the same thing. She said denial is part of the process. Despite everything, Maya smiled. We're a mess, aren't we? Complete disaster. But we're working on it. 3 months later, the foundation officially launched with a public event at the downtown Chicago Marriott. 200 people attended, including families the foundation had already helped, donors, city officials, and media. Marcus gave a speech about second chances and human dignity. Maya spoke about surviving homelessness and the difference between charity and support. Then Keisha, the single mom Maya had befriended in her training program, stood up during the Q&A session. I have a question for Mr. Wellington. You talk about helping families like they're other people, people separate from you. But what happens when you realize you needed help just as much as the families you're serving? What happens when you realize poverty isn't just about money, it's about poverty of spirit, poverty of connection, poverty of purpose? What happens when helping others is actually how you save yourself? The room went silent. Marcus stared at Keisha, then at Maya, then back at the crowd. You're right, he said finally. I've been framing this wrong from the beginning. I'm not some benevolent billionaire swooping in to save poor people. I'm someone who is spiritually bankrupt, trying to figure out what actually matters in life. Maya didn't need me. I needed her. She showed me what goodness looks like when everything else is stripped away, and that's what I've been chasing ever since. Someone started clapping, then someone else. Then the whole room erupted in applause. After the event, Maya found Marcus on the hotel balcony looking out at the Chicago skyline. That was quite an admission, she said. Keisha's right. I've been lying to myself about who's helping who. Maybe we're helping each other. Maybe. They stood in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Maya said, I got my certification results today. Passed with honors. I start at Northwestern Memorial next Monday. Maya, that's incredible. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because I wanted to make sure it was real first. Wanted to make sure I actually did it on my own before celebrating. You did do it on your own. I just paid tuition. You did all the work. Still feels like cheating somehow. It's not cheating. It's accepting help. There's a difference. Maya pulled an envelope from her purse. I have something for you. Marcus opened it. Inside was a check for $500 and a note. First month's rent on the apartment, plus $50 for utilities. I know we said I could pay whatever I could afford, but I wanted to pay market rate. Prove I can do this. Marcus tried to hand it back. Maya, you don't have to. Yes, I do. This was the deal. I pay my own way, and now I can. Keep it. Save it for emergencies. Marcus, take the damn check. Let me have this. Let me prove I'm not a charity case. He looked at her face, saw the determination there, and understood. This wasn't about money. This was about dignity. About standing on her own feet after 5 months of having no ground beneath her at all. Okay, he said quietly. Thank you for the rent payment, Miss Chen. You're welcome, Mr. Wellington. They smiled at each other, and Marcus realized something fundamental had shifted. Maya wasn't someone he was helping anymore. She was a colleague, a partner, a friend, who happened to have started from a different place, but had arrived at the same destination. Equal footing. 6 months after the foundation launched, they'd helped 43 families. 18 had already achieved full independence and were no longer receiving support. Marcus spent his days reviewing applications, meeting with social workers, checking on families, and working with city officials to expand the program. He was happier than he'd ever been in his life. Then his father's attorney called. "Marcus, we need to talk about your father's will. There has been a development." "What kind of development?" "A clause we didn't know about. Your father put conditions on your inheritance. Conditions you haven't met."
What conditions?
"He stipulated that to receive full access to the family trust, approximately $8 billion currently held in escrow, you must be either married or serving as CEO of Wellington Pharmaceuticals. You have 6 months from his death to meet these conditions. That deadline is in 2 weeks." Marcus's blood went cold. "You're telling me this now, 3 years after he died?" "The clause was buried in supplementary documents we only discovered during a recent audit." "I'm sorry, Marcus, but if you don't meet one of these conditions in 2 weeks, the entire trust goes to charity." "Which charity?" "The Richard Wellington Foundation for Free Market Economics, essentially a lobbying group that opposes welfare programs, housing assistance, and social safety nets. Everything you're currently fighting for." Marcus sat down heavily. "He's still controlling me from the grave." "It appears so. What do you want to do?" "I need to think." He hung up and stared at his phone for 10 minutes. $8 billion. More than half his total wealth. Gone in 2 weeks unless he either married someone or went back to being CEO of a company he hated. His phone rang again. Maya. "Hey, you busy? Lily and I are making dinner." "Well, Lily's making dinner. I'm supervising. It's spaghetti, and she's very serious about the sauce. You should come over." "I'll be there in 20 minutes." He drove to Rogers Park in a daze, trying to figure out what to do. The foundation needed funding. $8 billion could help thousands of families. But getting married just to access money felt wrong. And going back to Wellington Pharmaceuticals meant abandoning everything he'd built. When he arrived, Lily met him at the door wearing an apron and a huge smile. "Mr. Marcus, guess what? I made the sauce all by myself and only spilled a little bit, and Mama says it's really good. I can't wait to try it." Dinner was chaotic and perfect. Lily talked non-stop about her day at school, about her teacher, about the science project on butterflies she was working on. Maya interjected occasional corrections and laughed at her daughter's enthusiasm. Marcus barely tasted the food. His mind kept spinning through options, none of them good. After Lily went to bed, Maya sat down next to him on the couch. "Okay, what's wrong? You've been weird all night." "I got some news today. About my father's will." He explained the situation. The conditions, the deadline, the $8 billion that would disappear in 2 weeks if he didn't comply. Maya listened without interrupting. When he finished, she said, "So get married." "To who?" "I don't know. Find someone. Lots of people would marry a billionaire. I can't marry someone I don't love just to access money, even if that money could help thousands of families." "Even then, my father controlled people with money his entire life. I won't become him." Maya was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Marry me." Marcus stared at her. "What?" "Marry me. We'll get married, you'll access the trust, we'll use the money for the foundation. Problem solved." "Maya, that's insane." "Why? We're friends. We trust each other. We're already working together every day. Why not make it legal so we can help more people?" "Because marriage is supposed to be about love." "Says who?" "Lots of marriages are business arrangements. Ours would just be a business arrangement with the goal of helping homeless families instead of merging companies." "I can't ask you to do that." "You're not asking. I'm offering." Marcus stood up, pacing. "This is crazy. We can't just get married to access money." "Why not? Give me one good reason that isn't based on romantic ideals." "Because it's lying." "It's not lying if we're honest about what it is. A partnership. A legal arrangement to accomplish shared goals." "The board will never believe it." The board doesn't have to believe it. We just have to be legally married. That's what the will says, right? Marcus stopped pacing. You're actually serious about this. Completely serious. Marcus, you changed my life. You gave me and Lily a future when we had nothing. This is my chance to give something back. To help you help other families the way you helped us. This is too much.
No, it's exactly enough. We get married, access the trust, fund the foundation properly, and then, when the money is secure, we quietly divorce and go back to being friends and colleagues.
What about Lily? What do we tell her? We tell her the truth, that sometimes grown-ups make unusual arrangements to help people. She'll understand. She's smart. Marcus looked at Maya, really looked at her. She was completely serious, completely committed to this insane plan.
Give me 24 hours, he said finally. Let me think about this. Fair enough. He drove home and spent the entire night weighing options. By morning, he'd made his decision. He called Maya at 7 a.m. Okay, let's do it. They got married at City Hall 3 days later. No guests, no ceremony. Just Marcus and Maya and Lily standing in front of a judge who'd performed 17 weddings that day and looked too tired to question why a billionaire was marrying a woman he'd known for 7 months. Do you, Marcus Wellington, take Maya Chen to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. Do you, Maya Chen, take Marcus Wellington to be your lawfully wedded husband? Maya hesitated for just a second. Marcus saw doubt flicker across her face, saw her questioning whether this was the right choice. Then she looked down at Lily, holding both their hands, and the doubt disappeared. I do. By the power vested in me by the state of Illinois, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss if you'd like. They didn't kiss. They shook hands instead, which made the judge raise an eyebrow, but say nothing. Lily clapped anyway. Does this mean Mr. Marcus is my dad now? No, baby, Maya said quickly. Mr. Marcus is still Mr. Marcus. He's just also legally my husband for a little while. That's confusing. I know. We'll explain better when you're older. They signed the papers. Marcus paid the filing fee, and just like that, he was married to a woman he cared about deeply, but didn't love romantically. Also, he could access $8 billion to help people his father had spent a lifetime teaching him to ignore. His father would have been furious. That thought made Marcus smile for the first time all day. The attorney called that afternoon. I've confirmed your marriage certificate. The trust funds will be released within 48 hours. Congratulations, Marcus. Thanks. One more thing. Your father also left a letter to be delivered upon your marriage. Should I send it to your penthouse? Marcus's stomach dropped. What kind of letter? I don't know. It's sealed, but he was very specific that you should receive it only after meeting the marriage condition. Send it. The letter arrived the next morning by courier. Marcus stared at it for 20 minutes before finally opening it. His father's handwriting, sharp and precise as always. Marcus, if you're reading this, you've married someone to access the family money. Good. That means you learned something from me after all. Marriage is a transaction. Love is a fantasy people tell themselves to justify biological urges and social conditioning. You've chosen practicality over sentiment. I'm proud of you. Use the money wisely. Build the empire bigger. Make the Wellington name mean something beyond your mother's weak compassion and my temporary success. Don't waste it on people who won't appreciate it. Don't throw it away on charity cases who'll drain you dry and move on to the next benefactor. Trust no one completely. Love nothing you can't afford to lose. And remember, son, sentiment is just another word for weakness. Your father, Richard Wellington. Marcus read it 3 times. Then he tore it into pieces, threw it in the trash, and called Maya. Can you come over? I need to talk.
She arrived 30 minutes later, leaving Lily with Sarah. Marcus handed her the torn letter, now taped back together. Maya read it silently. When she finished, she looked up with fury in her eyes.
Your father was a monster. I know. He thought you married me as a business transaction. That's exactly what I did. No, it's not. You married me to help people. That's completely different. Is it? Yes. Your father wanted you to use people. You're trying to help them. Those are opposite things, Marcus. Then why does it feel like I'm still following his script? Marrying someone I don't love for money. Using a legal loophole to get what I want. How is that different from what he would have done? Maya grabbed his shoulders. Because your father would have used that money to make more money. You're using it to give families their lives back. Intent matters. Purpose matters. You're not him. But what if I become him? What if I start justifying worse and worse things because the end goal is good? What if helping people becomes just another way to control them? Then I'll tell you, that's why we're partners. That's why you don't do this alone. Marcus sat down heavily. I don't know if I can do this. $8 billion is too much responsibility, too much power. I don't trust myself with that kind of influence over people's lives. So don't have that influence. Distribute the power. Give money to organizations already doing good work. Fund programs run by people who've actually experienced poverty. Let the families you help have real voices in how support gets structured. That's not how foundations usually work. Then build a different kind of foundation. Build one where the people being helped aren't just recipients. Make them partners. Give them decision-making power. Share control instead of hoarding it. Marcus looked at her. When did you get so smart about non-profit structure? I've been reading. Jennifer gave me books. And I've been talking to Keisha and the other families. Everyone has ideas about what would actually help. We just need someone to listen. I'm listening. Good, because I have a proposal. Maya pulled out a folder from her bag. Inside were detailed plans for restructuring the foundation's board, adding seats for families currently receiving support, creating advisory councils run entirely by people with lived experience of homelessness, and establishing oversight committees to prevent exactly the kind of power concentration Marcus was afraid of. You've been planning this, he said. For 3 months. I was waiting for the right time to bring it up. Why now? Because you just got $8 billion and you're terrified of becoming your father. This is how you prevent that. You give away the power before you can abuse it. Marcus read through the proposals. They were comprehensive, well-researched, and exactly what the foundation needed. This is brilliant, he said quietly. I know. I worked with 12 different families to develop it. Everyone contributed ideas. Why didn't you tell me you were working on this? Because I needed to prove I could do something meaningful without your money or your connections. I needed to prove I'm not just the homeless woman you saved. I'm someone who can actually contribute. Maya, you've been contributing from the beginning. No, I've been surviving. There's a difference. This is the first time I've actually built something, instead of just trying to keep from falling apart. Marcus looked at his wife, this woman who'd survived homelessness and domestic violence and pneumonia and violent threats, who'd taught her daughter gratitude in the subway station, who donated money to shelters while living on the street, who now held comprehensive plans to restructure an $8 billion foundation to serve people better. I think I'm falling in love with you, he said without thinking. Maya froze. What? Sorry, I didn't mean to. This is a business arrangement. I shouldn't have said that. Marcus, forget it. Let's just focus on the foundation restructuring. These proposals are exactly what we need. Marcus, stop talking and look at me. He looked up. Maya was crying. I've been falling in love with you for 3 months, she said. And I've been terrified to admit it because this was supposed to be temporary.
a business arrangement to access your trust fund. But somewhere between medical coding classes and therapy sessions and Lily calling you family, it stopped being business. And I don't know what to do with that. Marcus couldn't breathe. You're in love with me? Apparently, which is inconvenient since we're supposed to divorce once the money is secured. We could not divorce. We could not divorce, Maya agreed. But that would mean this is real. A real marriage. Real commitment. Real risk of getting hurt when things fall apart. What if they don't fall apart? Things always fall apart, Marcus. I've learned that lesson over and over. Jobs disappear. Marriages end. Homes get lost. Nothing stable ever stays stable. Then we build something different. Something that doesn't fall apart because it's built on truth instead of illusion. Maya wiped her eyes. That's a nice idea, but I've been hurt too many times to believe in nice ideas. Then don't believe in ideas. Believe in evidence. What has the evidence shown you over the past 7 months? That you're consistent, that you keep your promises, that you show up even when it's hard, that you got beaten up by my ex's brother and still came back. And that maybe, possibly, you might actually be someone I can trust long-term. But Marcus, I have a 6-year-old daughter. I can't take risks with her stability based on maybe. You're right, you can't. So let me give you certainty instead. Marcus stood up and walked to his safe. He pulled out a document his attorney had prepared months ago, but he'd never shown Maya. What's this? Legal documentation putting your name on the foundation. Equal ownership, equal decision-making power, equal access to all funds. If our marriage ends for any reason, you keep your half of the foundation and continue the work. You're not dependent on me staying married to you. You're protected regardless. Maya stared at the papers. You were going to give me half the foundation? I was always going to give you half. You earned it. This work is as much yours as mine. When did you have this drawn up? 3 months ago. Why didn't you tell me? Because I wanted to wait until you felt confident enough to accept it. You weren't ready 3 months ago. You are now. Maya read through the documents carefully. Then she looked up at Marcus with an expression he couldn't quite read. If I sign this, we're partners. Actually, equal partners. Yes, which means I can tell you when you're making bad decisions. I'm counting on it. And I can overrule you on foundation matters. That's how equal partnership works. Maya signed the papers. Then she stood up, walked over to Marcus, and kissed him. Actually kissed him. Not the business handshake from City Hall, but a real kiss that felt like falling and flying at the same time. When they finally pulled apart, Marcus said, "What was that for? For being the first man in my life who sees partnership as power sharing instead of power taking. That's a low bar. Welcome to the reality of being a woman. The bar is underground and men still trip over it." Marcus laughed. Fair point. So, what now? We're legally married, emotionally involved, and running an $8 billion foundation together. What could possibly go wrong? The answer came 2 weeks later, when the media discovered their marriage. Not just discovered, but exploded with conspiracy theories and accusations. Billionaire marries homeless woman to access trust fund. Marcus Wellington's marriage of convenience exposed. Is Maya Chen a gold digger or a victim? The headlines were brutal. The comments were worse. People accused Maya of seducing Marcus for money, accused Marcus of exploiting a vulnerable woman, accused both of them of fraud. The foundation's legitimacy got questioned. Donors threatened to pull funding. Families currently receiving support panicked about whether the program would continue. Marcus wanted to issue a statement explaining everything. Maya refused. We don't owe anyone an explanation about our private lives, but the foundation is suffering. Families are scared. We need to clarify. We need to prove through actions, not words. Let them speculate. Let them judge. We'll keep doing the work. Eventually, the truth will be obvious. That could take months, years. Then it takes years. Marcus, the moment we start defending ourselves is the moment we give power to people who want to tear us down. Let the work speak for itself. Jennifer disagreed. Maya, I understand the principle, but we're losing donors. We've had 3 major contributors pull out this week. Without funding, we can't help families. Then we use the trust fund money. That's what it's for. $8 billion sounds like a lot, but it won't last forever if we're the only source of funding. It'll last long enough to prove we're legitimate. Then the donors will come back. Marcus watched Maya go head-to-head with Jennifer, both of them brilliant and stubborn and absolutely certain they were right. Finally, he intervened. We do both. We keep working without defending ourselves publicly, but we also invite independent auditors to review everything. Complete transparency. Let outsiders verify that every dollar is being used appropriately. That way, we're not defending ourselves. We're just opening the books. Maya considered this. I can live with that. Me too, Jennifer agreed. The audit took 6 weeks. During that time, the media attention intensified. Reporters camped outside their apartment, followed Lily to school, cornered families receiving foundation support, and asked invasive questions about their relationship with Marcus and Maya. One reporter ambushed Maya outside Lily's school. Mrs. Wellington, did you seduce Marcus Wellington to escape homelessness? Maya stopped walking, turned slowly, looked the reporter dead in the eyes. I survived 5 months on the street, keeping my daughter alive. I survived domestic violence. I survived pneumonia. I survived a violent man trying to kill me because I left his brother. And you think I needed to seduce anyone to escape homelessness? You think I'm not capable of rebuilding my life on my own merit? But you did marry a billionaire. I married a man who proved through consistent action over 7 months that he was trustworthy. A man who got beaten up defending my daughter. A man who gave me equal partnership in an $8 billion foundation because he values my expertise. That's not seduction. That's mutual respect. Now get out of my way before I call the police for harassment. The video went viral. Within 24 hours, public opinion started shifting. People who'd accused Maya of being a gold digger started defending her. The narrative changed from homeless woman tricks billionaire to survivor rebuilds life despite continued harassment. 3 days later, the audit results came back. Every dollar accounted for. Every family properly vetted. Every program transparently managed. The foundation was legitimate. More than legitimate, it was a model for how large-scale social programs should operate. Donors came back. New donors appeared. Within a month, they had more funding than they could immediately deploy. Marcus and Maya sat in the foundation office late one night, reviewing applications for their 100th family. We did it, Maya said quietly. We actually built something real. You built it. I just provided the money. No, you provided the belief that it was possible. That's worth more than money. Marcus's phone buzzed. Email from an unknown sender with the subject line, "From your father's attorney." He opened it cautiously. Inside was a video file with a note. Your father recorded this before he died. He left instructions for it to be sent only if you successfully met the marriage condition, and the foundation survived its first year. He wanted you to see this regardless of what you chose to do with the trust fund. Marcus clicked play. His father's face filled the screen, looking older than Marcus remembered, tired in a way Richard Wellington had never allowed himself to look in public. Marcus, if you're watching this, I was wrong. About everything. Your mother tried to tell me before she died. She said love wasn't weakness. She said compassion wasn't naivete.
She said the money wouldn't mean anything if I didn't use it to help people. I called her sentimental, told her she didn't understand business, told her she was weak. Richard paused, his expression cracking slightly. She died thinking I didn't love her because I couldn't admit that caring about people mattered more than caring about profits. And I've spent 17 years trying to teach you the same lesson I learned, the same hard shell I built around myself. But son, that shell didn't protect me. It just made me alone. He wiped his eyes, the first time Marcus had ever seen his father cry. If you married for love, I'm glad. If you married for money and found love anyway, I'm glad. If you married to access the trust fund and you're using it to help people, I'm especially glad. Because it means you didn't become me. It means your mother's compassion survived despite my best efforts to kill it. Use the money however you want. Help whoever you want. Trust people I would have called fools for trusting. And Marcus, let yourself be happy. Let yourself love without calculating return on investment. Let yourself be the man your mother knew you could be, instead of the man I tried to force you to become. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you this before I died. I was too proud, too stubborn, too committed to the lie that emotions were weakness. Don't make my mistakes, son. Don't wait until you're dying to admit you were wrong about what matters. The video ended. Marcus sat frozen, tears streaming down his face. Maya moved her chair closer and took his hand. He knew, Marcus whispered. He knew he was wrong all along. He just couldn't admit it until it was too late. People are complicated. Your father was terrible in many ways, but he loved you enough to try to fix his mistakes before he died. He should have fixed them while he was alive. Should have been different when it mattered. Probably, but he wasn't. And you can spend your life angry about what he should have been, or you can spend it becoming what he couldn't be. Marcus looked at Maya, this woman who taught him what real strength looked like, what actual courage meant, what genuine love required. Marry me again, he said. We're already married. I know, but marry me again, for real this time. Not for money or legal requirements or foundation access, just because we love each other and we want to build a life together. Maya smiled. That's the worst proposal I've ever heard. Probably, but it's honest. Give me a better one. I deserve a better one. Marcus got down on one knee, right there in the foundation office, surrounded by applications from families needing help, and financial documents, and photographs of the people they'd already supported. Maya Chen, you changed my life by showing me what goodness looks like when everything else is stripped away. You proved my father wrong about human nature. You survived impossible circumstances and stayed kind anyway. You're brilliant and stubborn, and you push back when I'm wrong, and you've made me want to be a better person every single day since I met you at that subway station. I love you. Not because you need me, but because you don't. Not because I saved you, but because you saved me. Will you marry me again, for real this time, and let me spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of you? Maya was crying. That's better. Much better. Is that a yes? That's a yes.
They kissed in the office where they'd spent countless hours building something that mattered more than either of them individually. When they finally pulled apart, Maya said, "We should go home. Lily's probably wondering where we are." "She's with Sarah tonight, remember?" "Oh, right. So we have the whole evening to ourselves." "What do you want to do?" Maya grinned. "I want to go back to Union Station. I want to show you exactly where I was sitting when you changed my life. And I want to thank that place properly, the way Lily tried to do." They drove to Union Station together. At midnight, the station was nearly empty, except for a few homeless people sleeping in corners, exactly like the night Marcus had first seen Maya. They walked to the spot where she used to sit, that stretch of floor near the Orange Line entrance. Someone else was there now. A young man, maybe 19, wrapped in a blanket too thin for December, clutching a backpack and looking at the world with the same exhausted wariness Maya had carried 7 months ago. Maya knelt down beside him. "Hi, I'm Maya. This is Marcus. We run a foundation that helps people get back on their feet. Are you interested in hearing about it?" The young man looked suspicious. "What's the catch?" "No catch. Just help. Housing, job training, support services,
Whatever you need to get stable. Nobody helps people for free. We do, because someone helped me when I was sitting exactly where you are now." She gestured to Marcus. He pulled out a business card and handed it to the young man. "Call this number tomorrow morning. Ask for Jennifer. She'll explain everything. No pressure, no obligations, just options." The young man took the card cautiously. "Why should I trust you?" Maya smiled. "Because 7 months ago, a man I didn't know handed me his credit card and told me to spend whatever I wanted for 24 hours. And instead of robbing him blind like he expected, I bought a coat for my daughter and donated to a homeless shelter. And that changed everything. So maybe you'll take this card and call tomorrow. Or maybe you won't. But at least you'll have the choice." They left him there, still clutching the card, still suspicious, but maybe, possibly, beginning to hope. Walking back to the car, Marcus said, "Think he'll call?" "I don't know, but we gave him the chance. That's all we can do." 6 months later, that young man, Daniel, spoke at the Foundation's annual gala. He'd completed job training, gotten certified as a medical technician, moved into his own apartment, and was saving money to start college. "Maya and Marcus gave me more than housing," he said to a room full of donors and families and supporters. "They gave me proof that goodness still exists, that not everyone with power uses it to hurt people, that sometimes, when you're at your absolute lowest, a stranger will appear and offer help without expecting anything in return. They changed my life, and now I'm going to change someone else's. That's how this works. You receive grace, then you extend grace. You get help, then you help others. This isn't charity. This is humanity remembering how to be human." Marcus watched from the back of the room, holding Maya's hand, listening to Daniel speak. Lily sat between them, coloring a picture of butterflies. 200 families helped in 18 months. Hundreds more on waiting lists. Expansion programs launching in 3 other cities. Partnerships with organizations nationwide. Legislative advocacy for better housing policies. Systemic change happening because one homeless woman had shown a billionaire that goodness wasn't weakness. Later that night, after the gala ended, and Lily fell asleep in the car on the drive home, Marcus and Maya sat on their couch in the apartment in Rogers Park that had started as temporary shelter and become permanent home. "We should probably move," Maya said. "Buy a house with the trust fund money, something bigger." "Do you want to move?" "Not really. This place is where we became a family. Feels wrong to leave it." "Then we stay, even though you're a billionaire who could afford mansions?" "Especially because I'm a billionaire who learned that mansions are just empty spaces unless the right people fill them." Maya leaned against his shoulder. "You've gotten sentimental in your old age." "I'm 43. Ancient." They sat in comfortable silence, watching Lily sleep, thinking about all the families they'd helped and all the families still waiting for help, and all the work still left to do. Marcus thought about his father's final video, that admission that came too late to heal their relationship, but early enough to free Marcus from the burden of following in those footsteps. He thought about the credit card test that had started everything, about receipts from Walgreens proving that compassion survived even when everything else was stripped away. He thought about Maya, sleeping on subway floors and still finding ways to be grateful.
still finding ways to help others, still finding ways to teach her daughter that kindness mattered more than comfort. And he realized that the test he'd designed for Maya had never been about her at all. It had been about him, about whether he could unlearn 17 years of his father's poison, about whether he could choose compassion over cynicism, about whether he could trust people enough to actually help them instead of just controlling them with money. Maya had passed his test by being exactly who she was, and Marcus had passed his own test by learning to become someone worthy of her. 7 months ago, he'd handed a homeless woman his credit card, expecting her to prove his father right about human nature. Instead, she'd proven that the only thing more powerful than wealth was the choice to use it with love instead of leverage. That lesson was worth more than $8 billion. It was worth everything.